Hi guys, got a minute? Christmas is just around the corner and the holiday magic is already in full swing. From hanging stockings and decorating the tree to adding those finishing touches around the home, it's all about getting into the festive spirit. And what better way to celebrate than by baking some delicious homemade cookies? Today I'm going to show you how to make 4 different kinds of cookies that are perfect for sharing with family and friends. So let's start baking. You're going to need approximately 50 crackers. I use these Premium Plus salted top crackers. Continue laying these all out with the salted tops facing up. 2 sticks of butter, 1 cup, with 1 cup of brown sugar. And we're going to bring that to a boil, stirring for 3 minutes. It's thickened it up, it's melted everything and thickened it up. And now we're going to pour it all over our crackers. While we're doing this, we're preheating our oven to 400. Now we're going to put this in the oven for approximately 5 minutes until it becomes all bubbly. We've removed our toffee from the oven, spread our chocolate chips. And let it sit for 3 or 4 minutes just until it starts to melt, and then we're going to spread it around. See all the chocolates all melting now? Top it with our nuts, or any other toppings that you would like to use. If you like to use chopped candy canes, or but I find it's really delicious with mixed roasted chopped nuts. It really adds flavor. Now we're going to let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we're going to put it in the fridge until it's cold. The chocolate is hard now. We can go ahead and start breaking it up into serving size pieces. In a medium bowl, we're going to whisk together 1 cup of all-purpose flour, half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, as well as a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, we're just going to put that aside for now. 1/4 cup of oil, 3/4 cups of granulated sugar or cane sugar. Beat it at medium speed for about 2 minutes. To this, I'm going to add 2 eggs at room temperature. So I'm going to beat each egg one at a time. On medium-low speed. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla to it. And now I'm going to gradually add our dry mixture. And I'm going to add, this is optional, but I like to add 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. I mix the last little bit by hand. Now at this point, you can refrigerate the dough for about an hour or for as long as you want. But I sometimes skip that part. I just roll them into the icing sugar and bake them right away. I like to use a little melon scooper, but you can use a teaspoon, a tablespoon, depending on how large you like to make your cookies. I like to make mine quite small. Almost done. And we will put them in the oven for 9 minutes. Okay, so I usually put in 2 trays at a time with my oven. As I said, I'm using convection oven, so the fan bakes them evenly. We're going to mix all the wet ingredients first, and I've already added 2 eggs in here, and as well as half a cup of molasses and a 1/4 cup of milk. And we're just going to mix that in a little bit. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I'm using a 1/4 cup of sugar. And you can use half a cup of oil or shortening. I myself am going to use the shortening. So this is half a cup. And I'm using my hands to make it easier. Of course, my hands are washed. For our dry ingredients, we're going to get a separate bowl, and we're going to put 3 cups of flour, and this is just all-purpose flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda. I have an 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cloves, and an 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. And we're going to put that in here. Stir this up a little bit. And we're going to add the orange zest. Until it becomes a dough, but we don't want to overmix. plastic wrap. And we're going to let it rest for about 20 minutes in the refrigerator. So we're ready to make our cookies now. We want to roll the dough about 1/3 of an inch thick. And we're going to put them on a baking tray lined with parchment paper. Eight ounces, which is 1 cup of icing sugar, 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and 1.5 tablespoons of milk. Now you may have to add more milk or you may have to add more icing sugar. We'll see what the consistency looks like. Let's add another tablespoon of milk. This is a really delicious, easy to make recipe. Really good. Start by beating the butter. So you need 1/2 cup of butter, and this should be unsalted and at room temperature. 3/4 cups of packed dark brown sugar. Fancy molasses, and we're going to have 1/2 cup of that. Beat that. I'm going to add 2 eggs. So we'll add one at a time. In a separate bowl, I'm going to sift the flour, and you're going to need 3¼ cups of all-purpose flour. A tablespoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So I put them both in together. I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're just going to set that in there. Now we're going to add this to the butter mixture and stir until blended. You can now also start to form a bit of a dough with your hand. Just knead it a little bit right in the bowl. I'm going to divide it into 2 discs. And we're going to wrap it. refrigerated for about an hour, or you can refrigerate them up to 2 days. Well, good morning. It's the next day. I've just taken the dough out of the fridge, and we're going to roll them into our cut out gingerbread cookies. So I'm going to make some of them with the gingerbread shape. And I like to put them on a cookie sheet that has parchment paper on top. Two cookie trays ready to go in the oven. We've preheated our oven to 350. Okay, the cookies have been cooling on the cooling racks. There's wax paper underneath, as I'm going to be sprinkling icing sugar on them. That's going to make a bit of a mess. This is optional, you don't have to sprinkle them with icing sugar. I like it, especially the little trees. It looks like that snow on them. I don't think I will sprinkle the gingerbread man. I might just leave them as they are. Or you can also put a face on them or outline them with icing sugar. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. And enjoy. Merry Christmas, everyone.